First of all, thanks for being part of this video. In this video, we are going to see the topic called quadratic equations. Okay, we are going to learn this concept. Let's get started. The quadratic equation we see in the format of a x square bx and c equals to 0. In between these two, we have symbols of plus or else we see minus or else we see plus and a minus, or else we see a format of here minus and plus. So these are the four quadratic equations we see in this topic. See, plus and plus, minus and minus, plus and minus, minus and plus. So these are four equations we see in this topic. So here if we see the equation having plus and plus, then our roots will have the sign of negative and negative. If we see minus and plus in equation, then the roots both will be positive. If we see the minus and minus, initial one is minus, so the first one must be the plus and the second one must be the minus. If we see plus and minus, here we see plus, so initial one must be minus and the second one must be the plus. So this table we need to remember. First we need to remember this table. Okay, let's get started with the questions. Before starting the questions, in bank exams prelims, we see minimum of 5 questions of quadratic equations. So, and we need to solve these 5 questions in less than 2 minutes. This is the target we need to fix for quadratic equations. You all can be able to solve these 5 questions in less than 2 minutes by watching this video till the end. So let's get started with the question number 1. Question number 1 is, first one, we see a quadratic equation of x, and again we see a quadratic equation of y. I previously tell you that if we see a plus and minus and plus in an equation, the roots signs will be both are in positive. The roots of x both are in positive. For the equation which has plus and plus sign, the roots both will be in negative. Now we need to compare the values of roots of x with the roots of y. Here we see both the roots are in positive and here we see both the roots are in negative. By comparing the roots of x and y, it is very clear that x is greater than y. So if we see a question like this of minus and plus and plus and plus, then we can clearly say that the minus and plus equation is greater than the other equation. So it takes only 2 seconds. So for the question 1, we see shortcut method previously. Now let's learn the traditional method, which will be helpful for remaining all questions. So let's see the traditional method. Here the coefficient is 1. 1 into 96, we get a 96. We need to divide this 96 into 2 factors when the 2 factors sum must be 20. So 96 means 12, 8 times is 96. So by multiplying these two we get 96, and by plus of these two roots we need to get the value of 20. So we getting 20 by adding these two. So the roots for the equation x square minus 20x plus 96 is 12 8 times, and already we learned that minus and plus means both the roots are in positive. Okay, let's see the quadratic equation of y. Here the coefficient is 1. 1 into 231 will be 231. We need to divide this into two factors, and the sum of those two factors must be 32. So here I see 11. So 21 into 11. Sum of these two, which will be 32, and the multiplication of these two we get 231. So these two are the roots. So what we get the roots is 21 and 11. Here we already learned that plus and plus means both the roots are in negative. Okay, by comparing these two, positive values is greater than y. This is how we do compare the equations. Now we are going to see question number 2. X square plus 32x plus 252 equals to 0. Okay, the other one is y square plus 57y plus 770 equals to 0. So these are the two quadratic equations we have. First, let's see with symbols. Plus and plus means both the roots are in negative. Plus and plus, both the roots are in negative. We cannot able to compare which values are greater or which values are lesser. So we need to go with the traditional method. So the traditional method for this one is, first we need to find the factors for 252. So 252 means I can see 4 here, and 4 6 times and 3 times. Okay, next one, let's divide this 63 as 7 9 times, and this 4. So we have 4 7 and 9 are the factors. This 2 as 2 into 2. So total factors we have is these 2 into 2 into 7 into 9 is nothing but 252. But we need two factors, and sum of those two factors must be 32. So let's see this one. 2 7 times, which will be 14, and 2 9 times, sum 2 9 times, which will be 18. So 14 into 18 will be 252, and sum of these two factors 14 plus 18, we get the value of 32. So 14 and 18 are the roots for this equation. Here we already learned that due to plus and plus, the root signs of these two equations are, two roots are both are in negative. Okay, we got the roots for x. Now we need to see the roots for equation y. Here we see 770. Let's divide this with 7 into 11, 77 into 10. Let's divide this 10 as 5 into 2, and we see 11 here, and we have 7 here. Let's multiply these two. 7 5 times 35, and 11 2 times 22. 35 into 22, we get the value of 770. Sum of those two factors 35 and 22 plus, which will be 57. So we got 57. So 35 and 22 are our roots. Here in question we have plus and plus, means both the roots are in negative. So what are the roots we get in x is minus 14 and minus 18. In y we get minus 35 and minus 22. By comparing these two, first how we compare is, we need to compare the minus 14 with the minus 35, and next we compare the minus 14 with the minus 22, and then we compare minus 18 with the minus 35, and compare minus 18 with minus 22. This takes a little time, but we need to compare at a time both the roots of x with both the roots of y. Here minus 14 and minus 18 are greater than 35 and 22. These are negative symbols, so the lesser value is greater. So it is very clear that 14 and 18 are greater than the 32 and 35 and 22. So it is very clear that x is greater than y. X greater than y. Now we are going to see question number 3. Now we are going to deal with question number 3. X square plus 54x plus 693 equals to 0. And y square minus 46y plus 520 equals to 0. First we always do with the symbols of the equations. Plus and plus means we get the roots are in negative. Here we see minus and plus. So minus and plus means the root values will be both are in positive. So by comparing these two, it is very clear that negative values is always lesser than y. So answer for this question is x lesser than y. It took at least 2 seconds only to solve this question. Now we have seen the shortcut, but let's see the traditional method. Here we see 3, 2 times, 3 times and 1 times. Here we see 21, 11 times, and here 3. So totally we have 3, 21 and 11. We need to sum of two factors. We need to get the value of 54. So here 11 into 3 times, which will be 33 and 21. So multiplication of these two, 33 into 21, we get the value of 693, and sum of these two 33 plus 21, we get the value of 54. So 33 and 21 are the roots. Plus and plus means both the signs are in negative. Next one, here in this question, in this y equation, here we have 520. I know 13 4 times is 52, and we see another 10. So let's write that 10 as 5 into 2. So how many factors we have? So we got the factors of 13, 4, 5 and 2. We need the value of 46 by adding 2 factors. So let's make this 13 4 times, which will be 52. So it is not the first factor. 13 2 times, which will be 26, and 4 5 times, which will be 20. Sum of these two, we get the value of 46. So multiplication of these two, we get the value of 520. So 26 and 20 are the roots of this equation. And we see minus and plus symbol means both the roots are in positive. So these are the roots for x and these are the roots for y. By comparing these two, it is clear that x is always lesser than y. So this is the traditional method. Now we are going to see question number 4. Now we are going to see the questions that are having coefficients also. Let's see the question number 4, which is 3x square minus 22x plus 35 equals to 0. And y equation is 8y square minus 26y plus 21 equals to 0. Okay, here minus and plus, so both the roots are in positive. Here minus and plus, both the roots are positive. So we cannot able to compare that which root is greater and which root is lesser. So we go with the basic traditional method. What we do is, here we have 3 and here it is 35. So the factors we need to make is this 3 and 5 into 7. Okay, so what are the factors we have is 3 into 5 into 7. We need 2 factors. Sum of those 2 factors, we need to get the value of 22. So 3 5 times, which is 15, and we have 7. So 15 into 7 will be 35 into 3. Okay, and sum of these two, 15 and 7, we get the value of 22. So 15 and 7 are the roots. And here minus and plus means both the roots are in positive. Okay, and here let's see equation y. In equation y, we have 8 and it is 21. Let's divide this as 7 into 3. Let's divide this as 4 into 2. So we need two factors. Sum of those two factors, we need to get the value of 26. So here 7 two times, which will be 14. 4 three times, which will be 12. Sum of these two factors, 14 and 12, we get the value of 26. Here plus, minus and plus means both the roots are in positive. So we got the roots of x and y. But here is a problem that here we have coefficients also. So here we see in equation the coefficient is 3. In y the coefficient is 8. To make the bases equal, so 3 and 8, the LCM of these two is 24, or else we multiply the roots with oppositely. The x roots, we need to multiply this with the y coefficient, which is 8, and y roots with the coefficient of x, which is 3. So what we get is 7 8 times, which is 56, plus 56, 8 15 times, which will be plus 120. Here in y the roots will be 14 3 times, which will be 42 plus 42, and 12 3 times, which is plus 36. Now we need to compare the equations. Here 120 plus 56, both these two roots are greater than the 42 and 36. So x is greater than y is the answer for this question. So for the equations which having coefficients, we need to remember the multiplication of those roots oppositely is necessary. Why we making a multiplication with 8 is because 3 8 times, which will be 24. So the coefficient becomes 24 here. Here we have 8 into 3 times, which will be 24. Here also the coefficient is 24. So we are making the bases equal by multiplying oppositely. So this is how we do. Let's practice this with one more question. Now we are going to see one more question which having bigger coefficients. First equation is 49x square minus 140x plus 75. Here we get a bigger coefficient 49. Okay. In second equation 20 y square minus 67 y plus 56 equals to 0. So in first equation minus and plus both the roots we get is positive, and second equation also we get minus and plus means both the roots are in positive. So we cannot able to compare clearly. So we need to go with the traditional method. First we have here 49 means let's divide this as 7 into 7. Let's divide 75 as 15 5 times. We need two factors. So sum of those two factors we need to get the value of 140. Let's multiply these two. 7 into 15, which will be 105. Always take the bigger root first, and 7 5 times, which will be 35. Smaller root in the second one. Minus and plus means both the roots are in positive, so we have taken the roots with positive. And what actually we need is, after taking the roots, we need to place the coefficient in the denominator. In previous question I said that we need to multiply oppositely, but here we have 49. We don't know the multiplication of 49 very easily, so we are not going with the multiplication oppositely. Here we have 20 and this is 56. Let's divide this as 4 into 5, and this is 7 8 times. Now sum of the two factors, we need to get the value of 67. So what we do is 5 7 times, which will be 35. 8 4 times 32. So 35 and 32, sum of these two we get the value of 67. So these two are our roots. Minus and plus means both the roots are in positive. So we got these are the roots, and the coefficient is 20. We need to place this 20 in the denominator. Actually, in the previous question, we say that we need to multiply oppositely. The first roots with the coefficient of y, and the second y roots with the coefficient of x. But we are not doing that this time. Why? Because here we see 49. 49 multiplying with 35 makes a difficult. 49 multiplying with 32 makes a difficult. So we are making the same coefficients in the denominator of our roots. If you feel that it is so clumsy, let's see one more time. The roots we got here is 105 divided by 49. And simply doing this with 15 times. So the roots we got is 15 by 7, and one more root we got is 35 divided by 49. This will be 7 times and 5 times. So we get 5 by 7 is one more root. In y equation, the roots we got is 35 divided by 20, and one more root is 32 divided by 20. So 5 7 times, 5 4 times, 8 4 times, 4 8 times, and 4 5 times. Now it is clear that 15 divided by 7 means the value must be 2 point something. 5 divided by 7 means the value is something about 0.8 or something. Okay, here 7 divided by 4 means the root value will be approximately 1 point something. Okay, 1 point something. And 8 divided by 5 means the root will be 1.6. So now by comparing these two, 2 is greater than these two numbers, so x is greater than y. Next, 0.8 is lesser than 1, so here we get x lesser than y. So by comparing the roots we get opposite symbols. So our answer will be relation cannot be established. RCE is the answer. This is the first question, that is we got a relation cannot be established. Let's see one more question. Now we are going to see question number 6. Here the coefficient is 5. Okay, it is 5 into 1 are the factors for this one. Here we get the factors, multiple types of factors we get. So let's take this is 9 6 times 54. So we need to get 33 by adding the two factors. So 5 9 times, which will be 45 more than this one, or else 5 6 times, which will be 30, and remaining with 9, it is also exceeding. So here there is no other possibility of other factors rather than 5. So there is a problem with here the factors of 9 and 6 we take mistaken. So let's make this as 3 into 2, and this 9 multiplication with this 2 we get 18 3 times also 54. 18 3 times also 54. So the factors here is 18 and 3. Now we see 5 3 times, which is 15, and 18. Sum of these two we get the value of 33. So the roots here is 15 and 18. Always take the bigger root first, which is 18. Here the sign we see is plus, and plus means both the roots are in negative. Okay, now we are going to see with the question number second equation. Here we see 5 means 5 and 1 is the factors. For 72 we have many multiplications. Let's write this as 9 8 times. So 5 9 times, which will be 45, greater than this one. so it is not possible. So this case taking 9 and 8 is mistaken by us. Now what we do is, instead of this we write this as 4 into 2, 9 two times, which is 18, and we left with 4 and 5, which will be 20. So 20 and 18, sum of these two, we get the value of 38. So the roots we got here is 20 and 18. Here the sign is plus and plus, means both the roots are in negative. And one more thing that, so here we got the roots these, but here the coefficient both have the same coefficient, so there is no need of any division of 5 in our roots. So let's compare the roots directly. What we get, comparing minus 18 and minus 15 with minus 18, it is clear that x is greater than and also equals to y. Minus 18 and minus 18 are equal. Minus 15 and minus 18, minus 15 is greater. Okay, comparing with 20, minus 20 with minus 18 and minus 15, it is clear that x is greater than y. So what we get totally is x greater than or equals to y is the answer. Okay, now we are going to deal with question number 7. Here in previous question we see positive here, but here we are going to see negative. Means after getting the roots, we need to subtract those roots, and subtraction of those roots we need to get the value of 11. Here after getting the roots, subtraction of those roots we need to get the value of 14. Okay, remaining everything is same as before the concept. But before going that, here is one most important trick we need to remember is, let's start with the symbols of the roots. Here minus and minus means what are the roots we get is positive and negative. Here see, minus and minus means the roots we get is positive and negative. Now we need to compare x with y. If we compare positive with the negative, we can say that x is greater than y. If we compare negative with the y, we get x lesser than y. So here we get opposite symbols. So the answer for this question is relationship cannot be established. So there is a trick that we can see immediately and answer this is as relationship cannot be established by seeing the negative symbol at the end on both the equations. Then the answer will be relationship cannot be established, because the roots we have is positive and negative, and positive and negative. Comparing positive with negative, it is greater. Comparing negative with positive, it is lesser. So that is why we got a relationship cannot be established. Okay, the golden rule here we use here is minus at the end. We watched it. It takes only 1 second to answer this type of question. What I mean to say is, if I see minus at the end, the answer will be RCE. It doesn't take even 1 second also. Okay, let's see the traditional method of this one. Here 3 into 20, which will be 60. 60 means the roots will be 15 and 4. The difference between 15 and 4, we get the value of 11. Here we are doing the difference of the roots. 15 minus 4, we get the difference of 11. So we got this one. Here negative and negative means the first root, the bigger root will be positive according to this one, and the next one is negative. Here 8, let's divide this as 4 into 2, and this is 5 into 3. Wait a second, 5 into 3. So 5 2 times 10, 4 3 times 12. No, 4 5 times, which is 20. 2 3 times 6. subtraction of 20 and 6, we get the value of 14. So minus and minus means positive for the bigger value and negative for the smaller value. So these are the roots we got. Comparing 15 with minus 6, x greater. Comparing minus 4 with plus 20, x is lesser. So the answer for this one is relationship cannot be established. Now we are going to see question number 8. In question number 8, we see the quadratic equations having roots also. Root 3, and here we see root 2. So for this type of questions, what we do is, first what we see, the value inside the root is 3. Take that 3 and keep that 3 in the denominator of 162. Okay, here the 2 is inside the root. Keep that 2 denominator of 36. So what we get here is 3 5 times and 3 4 times. Here we see for this one we get 18. Okay, now we need to find the factors for 54, and some of the factors we need to get the value of 15. Okay, then the roots will be 9 5 times, which is 9 6 times, which is 54. Sum of these two roots 9 and 6, we get the value of 15. So the roots we have is 9 and 6. Here we left with root 3. So we need to place that root 3 here. Okay. And one more thing, that the sign of the symbols which are minus and plus means both the roots will be positive. Let's see the second one, similar to this one. Now we got here 18. Now we need to find the factors for 18, and some of the factors we need the value of 9. So 6 3 times will be 18. Sum of these two factors we get the value of 9. So the roots we have is 6 and 3, and we left with root 2. Root 2 is placed in the side of the numbers, and the symbols we see in equation is a minus and plus, means both the roots are in positive. Okay, now we need to compare the x roots and y roots. Before that, what we do is, here in every number we see 3 as common. 3 3 times, 3 2 times, 3 2 times, and 3 1 times. So the roots we got is 3 root 3, 2 root 3, 2 root 2, and root 2. So what are the roots we got here is 3 root 3 finally, and 2 root 3. And in y equation the roots we got is 2 root 2 and root 2. Now we need to compare x with y. Before that, what we do is a square of all the numbers. So how we do is, first we do square for the number 3 square, which is 9, and root 3 whole square, which will be 3. 9 into 3, which will be 27. Here the sign for the roots will be both are in positive. Here also minus and plus means both the roots are in positive. Okay, here 2 square, which will be 4, root 3 whole square, which will be 3, 4th root 4 3 times, which will be 12. Here 2 square, which will be 4, 4 into 2, which will be 8, root 2 whole square will be 2. Now comparing 27 with y equations, y roots, it is clear that x is greater than y. And comparing 12 with both the roots of y, it is also clear that x is greater than y. So our answer for this question is x is greater than y. Now we are going to see question number 9. Here we see x square value is 49. So we know that 7 square is nothing but 49. So everyone thinks that the root is 7. But one more thing, that here we need to remember that positive 7 and negative 7 are the roots for this equation. Why? Because the Place of x we take 7. What we get is 7 square 49. Now if we take minus 7 as x value, minus 7 whole square which is also 49. So this is why we need to take positive 7 and negative 7 values if we see any number square. Okay, so the roots for this equation what we have is positive 7 and negative 7. Let's see the equation for y. Y we get 343. Y cube equals to 343. 7 cube value is 343. So y value will be 7. Here we don't get a minus 7 because if we take y place as a minus 7 whole cube, the value will be minus 343, not the plus 343. This is why we don't take a negative value of 7 in place if we see the power is odd number. Okay, if the power is odd number, there is only positive value, and if we see power 2 or even number power, then the roots will have both positive and negative. Now comparing these two, here comparing plus and plus both are equal. Comparing negative 7 with positive 7, what we get is x lesser than y. So combiningly what we get is x is lesser than or equals to y is the answer for this question. What if in case of y, the root, the equation given as y square value is 64, then what will be the answer? Here due to square, the roots we got is plus and negative both. Here also we get square, means both the roots we have are in the sign of positive and negative. We already seen this type of comparison. If we compare positive with negative, then the value is greater. Negative with positive, it is lesser. Then the relation cannot be established is the answer. So if we comparing a square with the other square, then the answer will be RCE. Relationship cannot be established. Okay, this is one more type, one more category. Now we are going to see question number 10. Here in question number 10 we see decimals. First we need to eliminate these decimals by converting them into fractions. 0.25 means it is 1/4 of the value. 1/4 value is nothing but 0.25. So instead of 0.25 we can write 1/4. Here we see 11.25. 11.25 means 11 1/4. So 11 1/4 means 11 4 times 44 plus 1, 45 divided by 4. So here 3.5 means we can write this as 7 divided by 2. 7 divided by 2, the value we get is 3.5. So instead of 7 by 2, let's take here the base is 4. Here also the base is 4. Let's convert this base is 4, means we are multiplying the above with 2. So we get 14 divided by 4. So what the equation we get here is 1/4 y square plus 14, this is y, 14 divided by 4y plus this one will be divided by 4, and the numerator is 45 equals to 0. So the LCM of all the three is 4, and taking all the LCM to the this side, 0 into 4 will be 0. So what the equation we left here is y square plus 14y plus 45 equals to 0. We can able to calculate the roots for this equation. And similarly to the second one, 0.5 means it is 1/2 x square, and it is 16 divided by 2 x plus 31.5 means 63 divided by 2 equals to 0. All the base LCM is 2. So taking the 2 to this side, we get 0 into 2. So left with x square plus 16x plus 63 equals to 0. We can find the roots for this one. So comparing the roots for those two, we can clearly say that the answer. So here one more thing we need to remember that sometimes the questions are asked with y first and x the next. We casually think that first equation is x and second equation is y, and after getting the answer we tick like this, x is greater than y, but the question says that it is y and this is the second equation is x. So the mistake what we made here is we got the value of x greater than y greater than x, but why art we made a mistake is we actually think that the first equation is x, this equation is x, so we make the mistake here. So must do remember the equation is x or y. So the quadratic topic is completed. The questions which we can answer in seconds is these three models, question 1, question 2 and question 3. These three models can be solved and answered within seconds. The first question we see minus and plus, plus and plus. So first equation roots will be both are positive and second equation roots will be negative. So x is greater than y. Take only 2 seconds. Next, second equation take only 1 second. By seeing the negative symbol at the end, the answer will be relationship cannot be established. Third question, if we see square on both the equations, then the answer will be relationship cannot be established. These three models only take 2 seconds to answer the question. So that's all for today. If you are new to my channel, please do like, share and subscribe and click on the bell icon, and must do comment which topic you want next to explain.